Greetings, everyone. I'm excited to welcome Adam Chrigström, founder and CEO of Big Audience Machine. Adam, welcome to the show.
Hey, Ben. Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, great to have you here. I'm looking forward to the conversation. I know you got a lot of stuff going on right now, but let's kick this off. Tell us a little bit about your background.
Of course. So my background is I actually studied economics in university, but I've always been a big fan of marketing and branding. So I did a quick stint at a branding agency. My dad actually was an ad guy. After that, I spent about four years in research. So I was working at a big research company in Sweden. Really enjoyed that a lot. I did a lot of big studies connected to young consumer behavior around social media and streaming services and stuff like that. Kind of out of all that research, an idea grew for a company that I wanted to start. And that was kind of like, we saw there's not going to be a Spotify for video coming. So let's just build like an intelligent layer of navigation on top of like the fragmented ecosystem of streaming services. So we built a streaming guide called Play Pilot that lets you find the best movies and shows across like all of the services. That was a lot of fun. Did that for 7 years, built a great team. When we sold it, we had about 6 million active users a month. So I've been in various things, but kind of to summarize things, where I've kind of ended up, what I feel that I really am today. It's like a product guy. I love building products. I do design, I do UX, I do strategy and vision and stuff like that. So that is like my main passion, I would say. Very into branding, done a lot of marketing as well.
Yeah, and great journey, especially economics major. And so Play Pilot, how long of that was a run did you have with Play Pilot? Are you still involved there, or was that company sold?
No, we sold it 2.5 years ago. And then I actually ended up joining the fund that acquired us, where I was employed as head of AI for 1.5 years. It was also a very fun role where I got to spend about half of my time just deep diving into this exciting technology, becoming an expert prompt engineer and like workflow automator. And then I would spend half my time consulting the portfolio companies around everything from product focus to workflow automation.
Okay, and then so went to that fund, head of AI, and then next step was Big Audience Machine.
Yeah. So actually, when I was working at that fund, it's a very media focused fund, a lot of focus on production companies. So we actually started out. So Big Audience Machine is kind of a pivot. The first product we started building was a pre-production platform for TV and movie producers, where they could like really quickly go from just like the kernel of an idea or a movie, and then we would expand it and then kind of narrow it down again into a pitch that they could very quickly take to Netflix and broadcasters and stuff like that. So we built that product. We had like 5 production companies that were excited to start using it and paying for it. But we kind of just realized that there are not too many buyers for this. And also in that industry, like I think about a lot of people really hate AI, like the script writers and a lot of those people, like they want to burn down the data centers, So I just like, we were not going to be able to get any viral growth. And if people were using us, they wouldn't tell anyone about that.
Mm-hmm.
So we were actually exploring quite a few other verticals. We were looking at podcasting, we were looking at game development, but we finally found a really good fit in content marketing. I guess what I kind of forgot to say was that during my time there, we developed this philosophy around how you could use AI in what we called complex creative projects. So that could be like mapping out an entire movie, for example. And if you think about a project like that, the way you would do it working with AI is like you would start with the core, the foundational idea, whatever that might be. And then you would kind of branch out over time. So maybe you would go to like a classic 3-act Hollywood structure, divide that up into 12 stages and then individual scenes forming like the leaves of its tree map. So, and I think increasingly as AI becomes more powerful, I think that AI is going to be doing a lot of the outer structure and the leaves in these types of structures. And we humans are going to like increasingly be working in the stem, defining the root and like the core idea, etc. So this is kind of our design philosophy behind BAM. It was also the design philosophy behind the old company. But when we're talking about content marketing, it's something quite different. Like the root and the stem will be a deep understanding of your business, what you do, what you're good at, kind of branching out a little bit, understanding your brand, your tone, your vibe. What do you want to look like in text and in video and in visuals? And then the content, kind of like individual content pieces forming the outer rim of the structure. So yeah, now we're kind of getting in a little bit more into what BAM is, because so BAM is it's a content marketing platform that lets you turn strategy and a deep understanding for your business into multi-channel content that is on brand and like really on point. So the idea is that you can either just have a much smaller marketing team, or that you can use BAM to replace your content marketing agency, soon also your branding agency.
And so with BAM, which I love the name, Big Audience Machine, so it sounds like it can start with an idea, and then it's going to, I like your visual of kind of the stem and branching out, and then it can take you through that entire process. So then it's creating, I assume it's creating the content then for these different channels that kind of falls under maybe a cohesive strategy.
Yeah, exactly. So I think, I mean, if a lot of people have, I'm sure, have done a lot of content now using AI, and what you figure out pretty quickly is that like you can't just press a button and get something good. I mean, I could go to ChatGPT and say, hey, I'm like a veterinary clinic and I want to write a blog, and it will help me do that. But it will be very generic in terms of the messaging, the tone, the formatting, all of that stuff. But you can create really good content with AI, but you need to write extensive briefs that have a lot of context. So you need to brief the AI about your company, about your customers, like how they're thinking, pain points, etc., about your brand and your tone of voice. And of course, about like, this is the topic I want to talk about, or these are the topics to which we as a brand are trying to establish ourselves. And what BAM does, unlike most other, I would say, content AI services, is that we help you build the system, that kind of foundational structure that acts as like the context database that then lets BAM become both a really good brainstormer, helping you come up with great ideas, but then also making those content ideas look and feel and sound like you. So I think that, I think we're trying to solve both helping you kind of build out your strategy, and then also, scaling your actual content production.
Yeah.
So we're like I don't know, I think of us as some type of mix between a content AI solution, or like a content marketing AI solution, and like a strategy development platform.
And you mentioned, yeah, it makes a ton of sense. And then, you mentioned, helping smaller marketing teams or replacing agencies. Now, would this be something that agencies would use, or would this just be in-house marketing teams?
No, this is definitely something that agencies can use. So you can you can have as many workspaces as you want. So you could have one workspace for every brand that you're working with or every client that you're working with. And so building out, we call it the playbook, this context foundation that I'm talking about. We call it the playbook. So you build out your playbook where you define all of those things that the AI needs to produce kick-ass content. And our AI is currently able to give you, I would say, a brand and content strategy on par with like your median agency that you would, find if you go out and look for content and brand agency. But if you go to like a world-class agency, they're definitely still going to be doing a better job.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are a high quality agency using BAM, I think helping your clients build out these like top-notch playbooks, that is definitely like super valuable still. And I think maybe this might be one of the last things that AI is going to be, is going to nail. I feel like you still have a lot of use for good taste and, carving out a unique brand position is, I don't know. It's like, it's something guttural almost, like it's a lot of intuition involved, I feel like. And it's not even, it's not even something I feel like, O3, the most powerful, latest OpenAI or Gemini 2.0, like they're not able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But if you can bring that to the table, you input that into BAM, you can become a super profitable, super efficient branding agency. So we're actually in talks with quite a few branding and content agencies right now that want to use BAM to scale their operations.
Yeah, no, that makes a ton of sense. I don't see why they wouldn't want that assistance from BAM. So let's talk some stats and figures. What year did you found Big Audience Machine?
So we founded it last year. We started building during the fall. So this is all quite new. We haven't launched yet. So we're currently in pilot with about 10 customers.
Okay,
yeah.
So last year started building 2024 in pilot with 10 customers. And then do you have a headquarters location?
Yes. So we're actually we're a remote team. So we're based in various places. So we have about half of the team in Stockholm. We have some of the team in Spain and some of the team in France.
Okay. So remote first, but spread out over Stockholm, Spain, and France. And then what's your current team size?
We are 6 people.
All right, 6. And other founders, or are you the sole founder?
I'm like the original founder, but we have 2 more founders as well that have joined during this still like very early phase.
Yeah. All right. So team size is 6, and then, just getting going. And tell us, so 10 pilot customers, how did you find those initial pilots or sometimes I hear that referred to as design partners. How did you find those guys?
So these are people that we've met over our journey talking about BAM over the last, 6 months or something like that. And we've been trying to find, so we're obviously targeting SMBs, so small and medium-sized businesses. So we've been trying to find like a good mix of companies. So we have everything from a company, they're about 400 people, but they have a marketing team of 5. So they would still fit into like the bucket that we're targeting, to, content agencies, obviously. And we also have, solo entrepreneurs. We have a 2-man doctor's clinic. So we're really trying to get like a good spread to figure out where it clicks and figure out why it clicks in these various verticals. So we're definitely learning a lot about like who we are for.
Yeah. Definitely a lot of learning with those initial customers.
Yeah. And I think like just our initial sense is that, at least in this early stage, we are really clicking with the kinds of companies that don't really have a brand strategy and a content strategy. They haven't systematized all of these things yet, and they really like need help to build all of the structure. But at the same time, the product is still kind of rough, so it helps if you know what you're doing. So if you are like proficient in AI and you're somewhat proficient in marketing currently, that's definitely a benefit, because it's kind of like in out. So if you're inputting good stuff, you're going to get a lot of good stuff out. But this is like our main focus right now, is to build an experience that kind of holds your hand and guides you through all of this. So we can go from targeting people that know what they're doing to targeting people that don't know anything about marketing and don't know anything about AI.
Yeah.
So that is definitely the vision. BAM won't require any priors in terms of being a great prompt engineer, or, any of that stuff.
Yeah, it makes a ton of sense. And then let's switch over to the fundraising side. How much capital have you raised to date?
So we have not raised that much capital. We raised about 400,000 euros during the fall. And yeah, we're trying to, we're kind of bootstrapping, or, keeping it really lean right now. So we're looking to raise a bigger round in the fall. So we're going to launch this in August. And based on the pilot now, it's looking like we're going to have really good KPI. So looking to do a bigger raise in the fall.
Okay. So 400K euros raised. And then for the other founders who may be early stage, just starting out, you're about, I don't know, a year in, let's just say roughly a year in, and who are bootstrapping, what led you to raise some capital for BAM?
So what led us to raise some capital initially, or?
Yep.
Well, I mean, I think we're definitely entering this age of AI. You can do a lot with a lot less, but we're not really yet at the stage where you can vibe code a production grade, scalable, high quality SaaS product. Maybe we'll be there in like a year or two, or maybe less, who knows? But we're definitely not there yet. So I believe that even if you have a great product vision, you do need a team. So yeah, I think if you're going to build something that's really, really great, you're going to have to raise a bit of money and get some great people on board to help you build it still. So that was definitely why we felt we had to go out and raise some money.
Yeah. That team build out initially is usually a popular answer for that one. So you had a great run at Play Pilot and now building BAM. So any fundraising lessons learned in this process or experiences at Play Pilot that you'd like to pass on to the SaaS founder community?
Yeah, well, I mean, fundraising is like, it's an art form in and of itself. And I think especially early, if you're raising a seed round or something like that, I think quantity matters. You're going to get a lot of no's, and just get ready for that. Don't let it affect you too much. And if you have to do 100 pitches to get a yes, then, if you believe in it, then that's what you got to do. So definitely plan for volume. If you're raising a seed, be super confident. And what else? I think, I mean, kind of like more tactical things. I think it's a good idea to actually set an end date, to dare to do that. I also think it's a good thing to plan for various phases. So you could have like the introduction phase, and then you can have the like getting to know each other phase, and then the final decision phase, and that you actually communicate that to your pipeline of investors early on, so they know what the process looks like. And then just do everything you can to make sure that that the round is oversubscribed, because if it's not oversubscribed, then you don't have any leverage in any of the negotiations. So that's, I think, is like the key thing. Like, just have to get that.
Yeah, great insight there. Great advice, especially that the last one being oversubscribed hasn't come up a lot. So that's a really interesting one, which, like you said, will create a lot of leverage. So yeah, I appreciate that insight. So at this stage of BAM, is there a metric or product number that you're monitoring to manage the business?
Yeah, well, I mean, right now it's all about making sure that we're achieving or approaching product market fit. So, of course, looking a lot at usage, looking a lot at retention. But in the very, very early days, you're not going to have any retention data. I mean, that's going to take a couple of months post-launch. So what we're doing is that we are trying to live very close to the customers, talking to them, onboarding them. I plan to onboard probably the first 100 customers myself. We even have, we're obviously, all of this is free. So we're even doing like workshops with our pilots, fine tuning their playbooks, etc. And we learn so much in the process. So I think in the beginning, when you're not going to have all that much like actual product data, it's just, you just have to get down and dirty and just talk manually with people a lot.
Yeah, I love that. And like you said, not a lot of data initially, but just those conversations provide a ton of data that's just hard to sift through, say through product usage data. So I love that. So Adam, appreciate your time today as we wrap up. What's coming up next for Big Audience Machine? I know maybe another raise later this year. So what's on the roadmap this year?
Yes, I mean, what I'm most excited about, of course, is the public launch in August. So we're going to be working all summer, making sure that we can release in August. And that is like the main event for me right now. That's all I'm focused on.
Yeah, that's probably enough. The big launch in August. So looking forward to that. We'll have to reconnect after that. Well, Adam, really appreciate your time today, sharing your journey. If listeners would like to learn more about Big Audience Machine, where should we send them online?
Definitely go to bigaudience.com and sign up for the waitlist. So we ping you as soon as we release. Yeah. Follow us on socials, of course. Follow me on LinkedIn, Adam Chrigström. Super hard name to say in English, but it's, if you find, you're going to find it.
You'll find it. Yeah, it'll be in the show notes, but check out bigaudience.com. Sign up for that wait list so you can get that link when they publicly launch in August or at the right time. And I really appreciate you coming on today and sharing your journey and experience.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Ben.
Thanks,
Pleasure
Adam.
to talk to you.